Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. So, we are officially in the NFL off season because teams start to, you know, bitch and complain and see what they can do to, get some leverage or even the playing field, right? So, one of those teams that's butthurt is the Green Bay Packers. They recently submitted a proposal to ban the brotherly shove or the tush push, right? Play for the upcoming 2025 season per reports. And it just seems like the Green Bay Packers are just butthurt because they lost twice to the Philadelphia Eagles in one season, and the Eagles ultimately went on to win a Super Bowl. And obviously, we know the NFL is a very competitive league. That's the whole goal of every team is to win a Super Bowl year in and year out. And only one team makes it. Only one team, wins the Super Bowl, and everyone else has to watch that team. So a lot of teams try to emulate what other teams do to try to get to a Super Bowl, or they try to, uh, you know, tanker with a team to stop them from repeating. And how do they tanker with a team? Well, a lot of times teams try to lure your free agents away from you to, make you weaker, right? They try to take some of your key players away. They try to take some of your coaches, some of your assistant coaches, right? They try to hire them away to weaken you that way. And then there's this way where the Packers submit a proposal to ban the tush push for, the 2025 season. Um, so I'm just going to pull up the article real fast. I'm going to read it with y'all. And then I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on some things that I thought was just BS that they talked about. All right. So let me pull up the screen for y'all to see. All right. So y'all might, let's see. Let's just do it like this so y'all can see me. Oh. All right. That's better. Okay. All right. So it says the Philadelphia Eagles tush push play is as controversial as it is successful. While the play was not banned by the NFL last season, they tried again. They tried the last offseason to get it banned. It didn't work. The league's executive vice president of football operations, Troy Vincent, a former Eagles player, said Monday that one team has issued a proposal to ban it in the 2025 season. The Green Bay Packers, who lost to the Eagles in the NFL wildcard round this past January, haters, were the team that issued the proposal to the league's competition committee, according to The Athletic. The Packers haven't been shy about their dislike of the play. Team president and CEO Mark Murphy publicly criticized it prior to the Super Bowl. He said there's no skill involved in it, and it's almost an automatic first down on plays of a yard or less. Murphy wrote on the Packers website, "I would like to see the league prohibit pushing or aiding the runner quarterback on this play. There used to be a rule prohibiting this, but it is no longer enforced because I believe it will start to be too hard for the officials to see. The play is bad for the game, and we should go back to prohibiting the push of the runner. This would bring back the traditional quarterback sneak. That worked pretty well for Bart Starr and the Packers in the Ice Bowl." It goes on to say last season, Vincent said that there wasn't enough sound reasoning to ban the play. However, the league did create a rule requiring pushers to start at least 1 yard behind the quarterback. The play, which entails of teammates, usually a running back, shoving the quarterback forward on a quarterback sneak, continued to be an integral part of the Eagles' success during the team's Super Bowl run this past season. The nature of the play, in addition to the possible injury ramifications of it, has led to some backlash since the Eagles started using it in 2022. It's not a football play, Hall of Fame coach Bill Cowher said on the Dan Patrick Show earlier this month. It's rugby. It's called a scrum. I mean, what else is it, Dan? Let's call it the way it is. I mean, you're pushing people and people pushing them over. It's just a quarterback sneak. I get it, but it becomes like a push in the back, and it's a scrum. It's not a strategic play, in my opinion. It goes on to say that it may not be a strategic play, but it's certainly an effective one. The Eagles, whose success rate when running the play is around 90%, used it to score on the first touch. Used it to score the first touchdown in the eventual 40-22 blowout over the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. And obviously, it says that the play has received a good amount of pushback, And then they say, I think there's a safety element to this. Coward says, I would have to think, because when you have 600 pounds pushing on one person who's trying to stay in there at 300 pounds, that seems to be a safety issue. And then it just goes on. It pretty much says, and then it says, it'll be interesting to see if the Packers proposal gets enough support to lead to another change, or even an end to what has become the NFL's most polarizing play. Now, I think, me personally, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm gonna be biased, but I think it's bullshit. Excuse my French. I highlighted some things that I think is just hypocritical, right? So, the Packers president said that there's no skill involved, right? So if there's no skills involved, why can't other teams have the same success as the Eagles, right? If it takes no skill, that means it's not hard to do, right? It's not complicated. There's no skill involved. Why can't other teams have the same success as the Eagles? Why don't other teams create their own version of the brotherly shove or the tush push and use that, right? The NFL is a copycat league, so why not put it in your repertoire, right? Then they say, he said that, well, okay, he said that, but then also my question is, why don't teams just stop it, right? It's football. You got the defense and you got the offense, right? Those are the two predominant units that go up against each other. The defense tries to stop the offense. The offense tries to game plan versus the defense so they can score. Why don't teams work on stopping the play, right? We always talked about, and we always heard about how Bill Belichick was such we always talked about how Bill Belichick always prepared for situational football, right? Situational football is the 2-minute warning, what to do. I mean, the 2-minute, 2-minute football, right? 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. What to do if a team tries a very long field goal and miss, right? There's all type of situational events in football that we talked about that they said Bill Belichick always tried to get his team prepared for. And that was one of the reasons why Bill Belichick and the Patriots were so successful, because he always made sure his team was prepared for every scenario, right? And you would think other teams would do the same thing, right? You would game plan situational football. So why not game plan for this play, right? You guys are not just the Eagles are not saying, hey, we're gonna line up and you guys don't defend it, right? Fight back. Shit. It's on film now. It's been on film for a little while now. So break it down on film, figure out what the Eagles are doing, and try to counter it with your big defensive line, right? The Eagles are not the only team that got big men on the offensive line, right? There's also big men on the defensive side of the ball, on the defensive line. So try to stop it. And also, the Eagles are only doing it in short down situations. So why don't you just stop the Eagles from getting in these short down situations, right? Why don't you work on keeping the Eagles behind the game plan? I mean, behind the chains, right? Why don't you, pretty much take them out of that scenario, take it away from them, right? Again, work on this situational football. Work on not allowing the Eagles to get in a situation where they can be able to use the tush push. And then there was something that's, Bill Cowher said that, it's an injury risk. Well, football is a contact sport. You're talking about grown men, big, strong, grown men moving very fast, very rapid in a very small space, right? The defense is trying to stop the offense. The offensive line is trying to mow over and make a hold, literally trying to, the offensive line's whole job is to be able to try to take a grown man, right? A 300 plus grown man, defensive lineman, and move him out of the way violently to make a hole for the running back or to protect the quarterback, right? That alone is a risk, right? That's what football is. Every play in the NFL, in football, you're at risk of getting injured, right? we've seen this with, the concussions, the lawsuits, right? The hip drop tackles, all of these things, right? It's just a lot of injuries. Injuries is involved in the NFL, right? But I've been an Eagles fan for 20 plus years. I don't watch every Eagles game, but I watch 90% of all of the Eagles games. Now, y'all think to yourself, how many players have y'all seen from the opposing team that came out from under the tush push that was hurt? We saw Chris Jones in the Super Bowl have a little kink in his neck, but he finished the game, right? Most times you see Eagles players on the offensive line coming out from under the pile a little banged up, but you don't see opposing players banged up after the tush push. And if the Eagles accept the risk that, hey, one of our offensive linemen can get hurt in that pile after doing the tush push, that's on the Eagles. They accept that risk, right? They accept that risk. So to say that it's injury involved, the NFL is just a bunch of injuries waiting to happen. Look at Dre Greenlaw, right, doing the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. Versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Dre Greenlaw was on the sideline. It was time for the defense to go back on the field. He ran, his Achilles ruptured. That was a non-contact play. No one touched him. So even just running back on the field, you can get injured and jeopardize your career and or lose your season, right? So that's just stupid. There's risk in everything that you do in the NFL. It's grown ass men, very strong grown ass men running into each other. So of course there's injury involved in it. I just think that the Packers are butthurt because they lost to the Eagles twice in one season. And when it mattered the most in the wild card round, the Eagles beat them, and the Eagles was able to move on and go to the Super Bowl and win it. It sucks. I get it. The Packers had the Packers. They had a good Super Bowl. They had a good run last year, and they got knocked out of the playoffs. And they had a good run this year, but they got knocked out of the playoffs. So has the Eagles. The Eagles got knocked out of the playoffs and lost the Super Bowl a few times. Right? It is what it is. It's not the NBA where you get a bunch of times in a series to win, right? And NFL is one and done. You bring your best game in the playoffs, and if you don't have your best game, you get to go home. But I wouldn't be shocked if a bunch of teams try to gang up on the Eagles to take away that play. But again, you still have to stop the Eagles, right? You still have to stop the Eagles. It's not like they're doing the play 100 times a game and they're going up and down the field with the play. You still have to stop them. And so I can see teams like the Dallas Cowboys hating on them, and a few other teams ganging up on the Eagles to try to get this play eliminated out of the game. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Like I said, I think it's bullshit, but it is what it is. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Do y'all think that the Packers have a valid criticism, or do y'all think they're just being butthurt? As always, I appreciate everyone who subscribed to the channel. We're on our way to I think we're on the other side of 750 subscribers. So we're on our way to 800 subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification button so you can stay up to date on all of the latest content that come out on this channel. And if you like this type of content, leave a comment in the comment section to let YouTube know that you like this type of content, so they can continue to push my channel to you and other sports fans, whether they're Philadelphia Eagles fans or just football fans in general. All right. Until next time, I'm out.